Hey, well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Yoga Church Digital. We're grateful that you could be with us this morning. It's Pastor Kelly Everling, Karen Hughes, and myself here this morning. We're so excited, and I think there'll be a Charlie Everling sighting this morning as well. So we're so grateful that you can join wherever you are. We invite you to take this time, take a deep breath, still yourself. Spend some time with your higher power, breathing in, centering yourself in this time, in this beautiful practice of yoga. Hey, if you want to share this with a friend, that would be amazing. You can take the Facebook link and put it out on your social media, share it. Those who join on YouTube, we would love for you to, share the YouTube link with your friends. It's a way to invite them to church. Tell them that you're here at Yoga Church Digital this morning. And we'd love to know who's with us this morning. So wherever you are, if you could let us know who you are, your name, where you are, and how you are. We love to do that. There'll be a time of prayer in the end. And if you have anything that we can pray with you or for you, there'll be an opportunity to bring that as well. And Pastor Kelly will lift those up today. So I want to share a quick little devotional. Tell us who you are, where you are, and how you are. And I'm going to share a devotional from the Christian scriptures. Please don't get freaked out about that. You don't have to be a Christian to come to Yoga Church Digital. Okay, anybody can come if you're spiritually open and you want to grow in your relationship with yourself and with your higher power. This is for everybody. Okay, but Karen and I and Kelly, we all come from a Christian perspective. We're followers of Jesus. And so we kind of share teachings and stuff from that perspective. Now, I'm going to share from the Gospel of Matthew actually this morning, which is one of the 4 books of the New Testament that kind of tells the stories of Jesus and the things that Jesus did and the teachings of Jesus. And I want to share one of his teachings that I really like. And he was telling his disciples that they are salt and light in the earth. And then he tells them, it's kind of funny, really. You're the light of the world. A city on a hill can't be hidden. And no one, after lighting a lamp, puts it under a bushel basket. You don't light a candle and put it under a bushel basket, right? You don't hide your light. You don't put it under the bed but Jesus says, no, you put it on a lampstand so it'll give light to the house. Are you with me so far? Can I get an amen? You take the light and you put it up where it will illuminate the darkness. So if you put a light under a bushel basket, what will happen? Well, if you put a light under a bushel basket, maybe the bushel basket will catch on fire, and then the house will catch on fire, and then the roof is on fire. We don't need no water. I'll let that lay for those of you who know what I'm talking about. But that would be a really bad idea to put your light under a bushel basket. So Jesus is saying, let your light shine before people. Now, one of the unfortunate stereotypes that we have in our postmodern society is that like religion and spirituality is this private thing that you do in the back room and you don't really tell anybody about it because it's sketchy. Jesus is saying, no, it's the opposite of that. Let your spirituality, let your soul, let your personhood shine out into the world. Be the light of love that blazes into the darkness everywhere you go. So spirituality it's not just a private matter. It's not just about you and God, 1 + 1. It's about the human race. And when we all practice some spiritual path of finding the truest form of ourselves and finding God in ourselves and trying to pursue a life of love and justice and concern for others, that actually can change our families, it can change our communities, it can change our organizations. So I want to encourage you today to be a light. Don't let anybody put a bushel basket over your light today. Amen. One of my favorite Disney movies is Winnie the Pooh, Pooh Bear. And it's this funny scene, Christopher Robin he's got this talking Pooh Bear, right? And he's like, I don't want anybody to see this. They're going to think I'm crazy or whatever. And Pooh's just kind of having conversations, and he hides in a phone booth and he says, Pooh, can you be a less exuberant you? Like, can you not be who you are? Can you be a less exuberant you? Don't be a less exuberant you. Let your light shine. Let the love of God shine in and through you into the lives of others. So when I get together for yoga, for me, and I'm not trying to speak this onto anybody else, but the practice of this for me is a time where I can really attune myself to the light of God, that I can really kind of get all the chatter and the crazy things that we have going on in our lives, kind of put that aside, really be present in this moment, present to how Karen is leading us through the postures. And I believe that this yoga practice is really closer to the ancient form of Judeo-Christian worship, which was a whole body practice. Shalach is the Hebrew word there, where you would put your whole body in worship of God. It wasn't just sitting down like with a hymnal or something, but you were worshiping God with your mind, your body, your soul. So as we do this yoga practice, for me, and I know that some people it's just fitness and it's just something, but for me, it is a spiritual act of worship, so that I can be set afire with the light of God, so that I can try to channel and to carry that fire and that light into the world. So, hey, we're so glad that you joined us. I'm going to turn it over to Karen to lead us in this time.
Good morning. Thank you, Michael. Yes, it's beautiful for us to be able to have permission to shine our light and to be who you are and to just embrace who you are. So with that, let us begin our yoga practice with the heart of yoga, which is breath. Just close your eyes in a very comfortable position and just begin to breathe, being aware of your breath, what's happening as you inhale, what's happening as you exhale. And as you breathe, let's clear our minds of any clutter, anything taking up too much space, so that we can become more centered, so that we can bring our mind, our body, and our spirit together as one and become bigger and stronger, and not dampen it, not put something over our spirit, over our light. Let us breathe and begin the process.
Bushel basket
Together as one and be. Continue to breathe with your eyes closed, and you'll hear me breathing loudly because I'm breathing in through my nose and then I'm exhaling through my mouth. This is more of a purifying breath. It can also bring any stress that's in your life down. It can bring your heart rate down. It's a very healing breath. It's purifying, renewing the old air for new air. Let's continue to breathe, maybe joining me with inhaling in through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Continue to breathe with your eyes closed. And as you have cleared your mind, maybe your heart or your spirit or your soul is speaking to you an intention for your practice today. What is it in your mind, your body, and your spirit that can help you to shine your light out in the world today, in your own life, in your own spirit? Maybe that can be your intention today. On the next breath, let's return to normal breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Open your eyes, sit nice and tall. Take your arms out long with your palms up. Inhale to float the hands up, and exhale, hands over, heart center, and namaste. Inhale to float the hands up, reaching up, big stretch here. Exhale, float the fingertips as far as you can reach down to your mat. Inhale. And exhale, let your breath guide your movement through your practice today. And know that this is your practice, and it's okay to change what you're doing from what I'm doing, or to modify, or maybe even not to do something because it doesn't feel right for your body. Know that this is your practice, and you should listen to your body. Nothing should hurt. It should all feel really good. One more big stretch. Inhale. Reach your fingertips and arms out as long as you can, floating your fingertips slowly down to your mat. We're going to go into some side stretches just to warm up the upper body temperature. Inhale, take the palm up towards the ceiling and then over. You can start slow and start small and gradually increase your range of motion, increase your breath, increase everything as you just stretch side to side. Inhale and exhale. Just rest your hands by your side as we go into some shoulder shrugs with breath. Inhale to shrug up and exhale to shrug down. Inhale and exhale. Maybe bring it into shoulder rolls to the back in slow motion, big shoulder rolls. Just releasing any tension in your upper back and your neck and your shoulders. Keeping your heart lifted, keeping your gaze lifted, and moving slowly, inhaling and exhaling with each shoulder roll to the back. So external rotation. We're in internal rotation most of our day, whether it's at a computer or whether you're a mother taking care of a baby bending over, or maybe you're just, whatever you're doing, a lot of times we are internally rotated. So it's important that we oppose that movement for balance. So let's externally rotate. 3 more big shoulder rolls to the back. Inhale on the exhale. Just rest your shoulders down away from your ears as you go as tall as you can through the crown of your head. Pull your belly into your spine to protect your back. Let's go into some neck stretches. Letting the left earlobe fall towards the left shoulder with a heavy head. Just let it go. Just reach with your crown of your head going up towards the diagonal part of the ceiling. And just letting the neck stretch, letting the head be heavy. Inhale on the exhale, going to lift the head up slowly as we slowly look over our right shoulder with breath. Inhale to look over the shoulder and exhale to come back to the center. Grow tall again through the crown of the head as we let the right earlobe fall towards the right shoulder with a heavy head. I like to elongate my neck here just to get a little more stretch. Maybe even take your hand and place it on your ear to help that process. On the next breath, slowly release, lifting the head back. And this time we'll just look over the left shoulder with breath in slow motion. Inhale to look over the shoulder. And exhale to come back to the center. We want to warm up our spine before we continue. So with your knees bent, either folded legs, or if that's not comfortable, it's okay to take your feet out in front. Just a little bend is all you need to protect your spine. Let's start with some upper body circles, starting small. Inhaling and exhaling with each circle, and gradually increase the size of your circle, the range of motion. And if you want a little bit more, maybe you round your back as you go to the back of your mat. And maybe you lift your heart as you come towards the front. We're going to switch the direction of our circle, starting small and gradually increasing the size of your circle. This is just a warm up. This should feel good, and we gradually warm up our upper body and our spine. One more big upper body circle, only to come back up to tall spine, sitting nice and tall. We're going to move into a seated cat and cow, so hands are on the knees. We're going to hinge forward, pressing the chest through, lifting the heart. Lifting your gaze up and inhaling to fill the lungs up with air. On the exhale, nod your chin and begin to round your spine back like an angry cat. Inhale into seated cow. And exhale into seated cat. Inhale. And exhale. And come up to tall spine. Let's straighten our legs out for staff pose, pointing your toes up to the ceiling just to ground those legs. Sit as tall as you can. You're in staff pose where maybe you stay. Or if you want a little bit more, go ahead and float your fingertips up towards the ceiling as high as you can reach them. And then hinge 2 or 3 inches forward. Continuing to reach for the ceiling, feeling the energy flow through the fingertips and flow through the soles of your feet. Maybe you continue here, just staying here, or if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can join me for a forward fold. Reaching the fingers towards the toes or the ankles, letting the nose fall towards the knees, bending the knees if you need to, and then maybe gradually straightening them. Let us breathe 3 breaths here. Inhale and exhale, slowly begin to round your spine back up to tall spine. Articulating the spine, stacking one vertebra on top of the other at a time. It's important that we work with our body, we work with our spine. Go ahead and pull your left heel towards your buttocks, lifting your left knee towards your chest. Only to sit as tall as you can as we go into some spinal rotation. We're going to use that right elbow forearm around that bent knee to get as tall as you can. And then going to take your left hand around to the back of your mat. Once again, lifting your heart, lifting your gaze, and breathing as deep as you can. So deep on your inhale that you feel your lung and your rib cage just expand. On the next breath, slowly come around to the center. Let's switch our arm grip as we slowly rotate around to our right. Once again, lifting your heart, lifting your gaze, breathing deep. And whenever we're pausing for 2, 3, maybe 5 breaths, this is an opportunity to maybe focus or meditate on your intention. Or maybe for you, it's just to be still and to be quiet and to be grounded. On the next breath, slowly come back around to the center. We're just going to pick up that left foot and ankle and put it on top of the right knee. Maybe softly press that knee towards your mat. Sit nice and tall, hamstring stretch. Maybe this is where you stay. If you want to go a little bit deeper with a long spine, it's important that you keep your spine long. Lean back as you slide your right heel in and lift your heart and your rib cage as you hinge forward, as though you were just going to bring your chest towards your calf. And then go on and cradle your knee and gently rock it, or maybe you want more, you can cradle the whole lower leg and gently rock side to side. So you should feel this all through your left buttock, into your left hip joint, maybe into the lower part of your left back. This should feel good for you. It should release any tension. Maybe it's your piriformis or IT band that you're stretching here. Be sure to stay tall. The taller you stay, the more stretch you will feel. On the next breath, let's go on and release as we straighten out that left leg and pull the right knee in towards the chest this time, using the knee to get nice and tall. for spinal rotation on the other side. It's okay to cross your foot if you want more, or maybe you just keep it there. Either way works. We'll take our opposite arm, our left arm, around that right knee, only to grow taller. As you take your right hand around to the back of your mat, lift your heart, lift your gaze, and breathe deep. Remember, on that inhale, the deeper you breathe, the more that you can just stretch out that rib cage and that lung. Let us breathe. Inhale and exhale, slowly come around to the center as you switch your arm grip. Lifting your heart once again, lifting your rib cage as you slowly rotate once again around to your left, lifting your heart, lifting your gaze, and breathing deep. So rotation of the spine invites restoration to your mind, your body, and your spirit. On the next breath, come back around to the center as we lift up the right ankle and foot and put it on top of the right knee. Maybe softly pressing the knee down towards your mat. Sitting tall, maybe staying here enjoying the stretch, or if you want to go a little bit deeper with a long spine, lean back as you slide that left heel in, only to lift your heart, lift your rib cage, bringing your chest towards your lifted calf, and gently rock side to side. Maybe it's just the knee, maybe it's the lower leg, whatever feels good for your body. That's what I love about yoga and about teaching yoga, is that when I teach a class, I can't see you now, but when I'm in person, it's so fun to just look out and see everybody, how everyone is built so differently, so everybody moves differently. And I find that so beautiful that we have a practice that we can do where we can think differently, we can be different, we can be who we are, we can work with our own body, we can let our light shine in the way that we move and the way that we worship. On the next breath, let's just release. And this time we're going to take the soles of the feet together. You can keep your feet away from your body if you have any lower back injury or pain, or maybe you want to go deeper. You can pull your heels in. Maybe you even wiggle to get closer. You can hold on to your knees or your shins or your ankles or your feet, whatever feels good for you. Relax your shoulders, sit as tall as you can, and then begin to pull your belly into your spine as we're in seated butterfly. Breathe, 3 breaths here. Maybe you want to go a little bit deeper. You can float your elbows over your inner knees with a long spine, hinge forward, only to drop your chin to your chest, rounding the spine, letting the nose float slowly towards your feet and just letting it go. Remember to keep your shoulders relaxed here. As you gently press the inner knees towards the earth, you'll feel an opening up of the lower back. Let us breathe 3 more breaths in seated butterfly. On the next breath, slowly roll the spine up, articulating the spine, letting one vertebra stack on top of the other. Chin is the last thing to come up. Let us transition onto our hands and knees, where we'll move into a Vinyasa Flow. I'm going to start with a modified Vinyasa Flow. So we start with our hands and knees, and as you press your hips forward, your wrist will be underneath your armpits. This is a modified plank. So you can continue from a modified plank as we go through our vinyasas if a full plank is not for you. And then slowly lower your body down, chest and everything. Your fingertips should be in alignment with your shoulders. And then for Cobra, squeeze your elbows in. Now, if you have lower back issues, beware your lower disc will compress as you lift your chest and your chin. Maybe you just lift an inch or 2, maybe more. Maybe your body allows you to lift all the way up. But do be aware that it will compress the disc in your lower back. So it should not hurt. If it does, lower yourself down. And then next in our vinyasa, our modified vinyasa, we're going to go in and lift up our hips and bring them onto our heels for an extended child's pose. Now, extended child's pose. You're reaching your arms out away from your shoulders, letting your fingers walk away from your shoulders as you just breathe. Now, you can stay here. An extended child's pose. It is a modification for downward dog. Or you can join me for downward dog, coming back up to hands and knees, curling the toes under, lifting the sits bones, lifting the knees, reaching the sits bones up towards the ceiling, and maybe pedaling your heels. Left heel comes down, right heel, left, right. Maybe both heels press down as you lift your sits bones a little bit higher. You're going to feel this all down the backs of your legs. It should feel good. So maybe you are in child's pose instead of downward dog. That's perfectly okay. Remember, this is your practice. We're going to move into that plank. So you can either come into a full plank, letting your shoulders once again come over your wrist. Maybe you drop your knees for the modified plank. Or maybe you just challenge yourself. So your body should be straight. We really don't want our hips to sag. It would be better to pike up a little bit. But the ideal plank is when your back is totally straight and your hips aren't sagging. So from the crown of your head to your heels are straight like a plank board. Go on and breathe 3 breaths here. Next, we can lower our whole body down into Cobra. Maybe you join me for a little more challenge, Chaturanga. Go on and bend your elbows and then hold your whole body up with your elbows. Hover as long as you can, and when you can't hover anymore, just come on down to your Cobra. And let it work for you. And breathe 3 breaths, either in Chaturanga or Cobra. And from there, we'll move back into child's pose, or maybe you're joining me in downward dog, where we will pedal, dropping the left heel down, right, left, right, both heels pressing down, and sits bones pressing up, and then coming back into your plank. So if you're in child's pose, go on and press forward to your bent knee plank. If you're in downward dog, come into your full plank. Maybe you drop your knees, maybe you don't. It's your plank. And breathe 3 breaths here in plank pose. So if you do have your arms straight and your legs straight, pull your belly into your spine, and then maybe even separate that space between your shoulder blades. Remember to transition your weight through your whole body. And from here, you can go back down to Cobra, or maybe you uncurl your toes, float your hips towards your mat, lift your heart, lift your gaze, and you're in up dog. From here, we'll all go into a traditional child's pose where the big toes are together, the knees come far apart, the forehead comes down to the mat, and the hands come back by the ankles with the palms up. Just let it go here. Go on and breathe 5 breaths in traditional child's pose. On the next breath, come on back to hands and knees. We're going to come up to standing. I'm going to do it in a yoga traditional style, but you're welcome to come up to standing however it works for your body. Lifting up into downward dog, you can either step forward or hop forward into a standing forward fold. Letting your nose float towards your knees, trying to straighten out your knees. Maybe you want a little bit more. You can kind of wiggle your hips softly side to side. And then we're going to take our big toes out and our heels out and our big toes. Now, maybe you stay here, or maybe you join me for a deep yoga squat here. So in deep yoga squat, we want to try to keep our heels down. Use your elbows to push your knees apart. Lift your heart. Lift your gaze. Maybe close your eyes and breathe. This is a great hip opener, especially if you're a runner or a pickleball player, or really a lot of the things we do in our life. As we get older, our hip flexors get really tight. So this is a great stretch or pose to do to oppose that tightness. and to bring restoration into your body. Let's come back into that standing forward fold by nodding your chin, swinging your heels out so your feet are parallel, and then slowly rolling up one vertebra at a time. Inhaling to float the hands up, and exhale, hands over, heart center. Let's go into some moonflowers today. So moonflowers are really fun because you can really release any negativity in your life or anything that's just causing issues by using your mind, body, and spirit here. So it works by letting your breath guide your movement. Go on and reach your hands out like you're free. And then as you do a mini squat or a big squat, whatever works for your body, bring your elbows in towards your waist. Inhale. And as you exhale, come up and just get rid of all that bad stuff. Inhale and exhale. If you have knee injuries, maybe you just bend your knees a little or not at all. Or if you're more advanced, maybe you come down much farther. Inhale and exhale. Moonflowers. Inhale and exhale. Let's take it into sunflowers. I like big sunflowers. It just makes me happy. The color of sunflowers. Sunflowers are always shining their light with their bigness and their yellow, bright color. Inhale and exhale. One more big sunflower, only to float our arms out into a T. Now, palms are down. This is called standing straddle split. You can come here anytime you feel you need to, if you feel off balance. Go on and swing your heels out so your feet are parallel and hinge halfway down for good morning pose. So in good morning pose, your arms are long, your legs are arm, your legs are long, and your spine is long. You can stay here, enjoy the stretch, or join me for Revolving Triangle, dropping the left fingers or hand under your heart, floating your right hand up, gazing up, inhale. Exhale, come back into good morning stretch, only to revolve in the other direction, dropping your right hand or fingertips under your heart, and lifting your gaze and your left arm, hand up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, come back into your good morning pose, only to hinge back up into standing straddle split. Let's go into our warrior series. We're going to turn that right foot out to the side, bending your right knee. So really, the more space you have between your right heel and your left arch, the more balanced you will be. So your shoulders are stacked over your hips, pull your belly into your spine. You're in warrior 2. And then let's go on and gaze down our left hand, left arm as we rotate our upper body to the left. And we will move into peaceful warrior, dropping the back hand, floating the front hand up and towards the ceiling for peaceful warrior. How high can you reach? Whatever your intention is, I love to meditate on my intention or my prayer, whatever it might be for you during the warrior poses. Let us breathe 3 breaths and peaceful warrior. On the next breath, we're going to move into side angle, dropping that right elbow onto that right bent knee, floating your back hand up. Maybe gazing up to your hand or gazing down to your big toe. Maybe you want an extended side angle. You can extend that right hand to the inside or the outside of your right foot. Now you can gaze down to your big toe to protect your neck, or maybe you gaze up to the ceiling for a little more challenge. Whatever works for you, protect your neck. And then from here, we're going to go and windmill that top hand down. So both hands are down on the mat. Turn that left foot forward so you're in a deep runner's lunge. And from here, we can drop that left knee, uncurl the left toes, and go on and float your hands up towards the ceiling for a kneeling crescent lunge. Or maybe you just stay here and meditate, focus, or just be. Or join me for a rotation twist. Go on and drop that left hand down and rotate to your right, gazing up to your right hand and breathing. Let's go and windmill that top hand down and bring both hands to the inside of that front ankle as you drop to your elbows or not. So that's not really for everyone. So only do what feels good for you. Let us breathe. 2 more breaths here. Elbows down or elbows up. Go ahead and straighten your arms if they're not already straightened. Straddle that front foot. We're coming back up. Curl your back toes under, lift your back knee. Use your front knee or thigh to come back up. And we'll float your fingertips up and you're in Crescent Lunge. Turn that left back foot out to the side. You're in Warrior 1. Then back into Warrior 2. And then go on and turn your right foot forward back into Standing Straddle Split. As we go into our warriors on the other side, we'll turn that left foot out to the side. Remember, you want a lot of space, between this heel and that back arch. Stacking the shoulders, gazing down that left hand, arm, Warrior 2. And then as we go up and towards the back into peaceful, or some people say reverse warrior. Let us breathe 3 breaths here. Inhale, exhale, coming back into Warrior 2, only to transition into side angle, dropping that elbow to that knee, floating your back hand up, and you're in side angle. Or maybe you want to extend to side angle, you can extend your hand down, gaze down to your big toe. Or if you want a little more challenge, gaze up to your top hand, and breathe. We're going to windmill that top hand down as we turn our right foot straight, so both feet are facing in the same direction. You're in a deep runner's lunge where we'll drop that back knee, uncurl the back toes, float the hands up towards the ceiling in a kneeling crescent lunge where maybe we stay as we gaze up, or maybe you come into a rotation twist, dropping that left hand down, rotating to your right, floating the right hand up. And then going to float that top hand down so you can drop down to your elbows here or not. Remember, this is one thing that is not for everyone. It depends on how your body is built. It's easier on the other side for me, so I tend not to go to my elbows here because it kind of hurts. It's something that you have to work towards. So maybe you come down for a few seconds and then come back up. Listen to your body. Don't let anything hurt. If your elbows are bent, go on and straighten your arms and straddle that front foot as we curl our back toes under, coming back into a deep runner's lunge. Only 2. You can use your knee if you need to. Come up into our crescent lunge, floating your hands back up towards the ceiling. Crescent lunge. And go on and turn that back right foot out to the side, and you're in Warrior 1. And then Warrior 2. And then come back to Standing Straddle Split. Bring your hands over your heart center. Take your heels in, big toes in. Heels, toes, bringing your feet together. As we go into our tree pose, our balance pose, before we do that, I would like to go into mountain pose. So mountain pose, it's a very simple pose, but it's probably one of the most important poses we do in yoga. So we want to ground our feet, the soles of our feet. So close your eyes and let your arms just kind of hang down. Then rotate your arms so that your palms are facing forward. So your thumbs are on the outside and your pinkies might be touching your legs. And then grow tall through the crown of the head. Pull the belly into the spine, relaxing the shoulders. And then imagine that you can just rotate your thighs outward away from each other. That's right. As you press all 4 corners, all 4 points in the soles of the feet into the earth, into your mat. And this is where we become grounded. Let us just breathe, becoming more grounded, becoming stronger, connecting that mind, body, and spirit by being grounded. Let us breathe and mountain pose. Maybe as you pull your belly into your spine, maybe you lift your rib cage, lift your heart as you drop your shoulders down. So there's a lot of little things going on to help us become grounded, kind of like the way it is in life. It's the small things that help us to be grounded. On the next breath, let's open our eyes, bring your hands over your heart center as we move into tree pose. We'll start with traditional tree pose. Well, kind of traditional. A true traditional tree pose, you would bring your foot up onto your thigh, but we're not going to do that because a lot of people fall when they do that. So we'll do it in a progression style. Go on and lift up your left heel. Maybe you stay there. So like I said, it's progression. It'll be a little more challenging. Maybe you take the sole of your foot to the inside of your standing leg. Maybe you float it up onto your calf. Maybe you do pick up the sole of your foot and put it onto your thigh up high. And then try to stay tall. Try to let the crown of the head grow towards the ceiling. And then become grounded again. We've practiced this since we started our practice today. Let us breathe, and if you can just breathe that purifying breath in through the nose and out through the mouth as you focus on your intention, or maybe you just want to be in the moment. Inhale on exhale, go on and release. Just drop your hands, shake your legs out. Let's do a standing camel before we go to the other side. Take your hands behind your hips and then go on and squeeze your elbows together. Lift your heart, lift your chest. If you are over 50, it's contraindicated to roll your head back. So you would just press your hips forward and gaze down to your belly. If you're under 50, or maybe you want to pretend that you're over or under 50 and you're not, and it's okay for your body to roll your head back like me, I like to just do it anyway. Oh, it feels so good. And this is standing camel. And then slowly come back up to standing. Drop your hands, do some shoulder rolls to the back. It's important that you are relaxed as you go into your balance poses. So instead of bringing our hands over our heart, however, if that's what you prefer to do, you can. I encourage you to become your own unique tree as we go to the other side. So maybe you're going to be a tall tree, maybe a tree with lots of branches, maybe just a fat bush. Maybe you're a lopsided tree. Maybe you're a tree blowing in the wind. It's your tree. Let it be. Go on and lift up your right heel. I'm going to be a tall tree today. Maybe you keep your foot down, the ball of your foot down, or your big toe down. Maybe you can float that sole of your foot up your leg a little. Maybe you pick it up and put it on the inside of your thigh. Let us breathe our 5 breaths in tree pose. Inhale, exhale, float the hands down. Swing it out. We're going to do a swan dive to come back down to the mat as we come into our Savasana once we're down on the mat for our final relaxation. So start with your hands over your heart. This is kind of like the moonflower, soft knees, soft body. Inhale to float the hands up. And as your hips hinge to the back, you bring your nose towards your knees. You bring your hands in front of your knees or your ankles. Slip your palms forward. And then imagine you're taking a heavy load up. It's heavy. It's in your palms. Maybe it's a heavy load of love, of energy, of light, whatever it is that you want more of into your spirit, bring it into your heart center. Inhale to float the hands up. Swan dive. Exhale. Inhale, reverse swan. Exhale, bring it from up above into your heart center. And one more swan dive. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and Exhale, bring your hands over heart center as we now do a forward fold to come back to our hands and knees. Reach your fingertips up as high as you can. Keep your biceps by your ears. Fold, bend your knees if you need to. And then go on and step back to your hands and knees, only to transition onto our buttocks, right? As we bring our feet out in front, as we use our hand grip behind our knees to roll back, lifting our feet and slowly rolling onto our backs, dropping your head onto your mat. If you need a pillow for your head, you can always roll your mat up, make a little pillow. Go on and bear hug your knees into your chest. We've kind of run out of time, so we're going to go right into our Savasana because that is the most important part of our practice. But first, let's just go on and rock our knees side to side. So final Savasana is a final relaxation where you just totally relax. You just be in the moment. So I encourage you, you can either bring your legs up the wall, maybe you put a block under your hip, or maybe you bring your feet down and go into supine butterfly where the soles of the feet come together and the knees fall apart. Or maybe you just straighten your legs. Let us get in the most comfortable position for you to just let go, to just be in the moment and final Savasana as you close your eyes, as you breathe, and as you just melt into your mat wherever you are. Just be in the moment. Relaxing your mind, relaxing your breath, relaxing your body, and just being. Let us relax our feet and our legs behind our knees, our buttocks. Relax your back, your lower back and your upper back, even your middle back. Just let it be where it needs to be, to just relax. Can you relax your shoulders just a little more? And relax your arms, the insides of your elbows, your wrist, the palms of your hands. Let your palms rotate upward. Maybe bring your arms out into a T. I call it the Jesus pose, but I find it very relaxing. Palms up, fingers relaxed. Maybe your fingers are slightly bent, parted. And as you relax your thumbs, if your palms are up, you'll find your shoulders relax just a little bit more. Every time you try to relax your thumbs, you'll feel it in your shoulders. Relax your hip bones and your pelvis and your belly, your rib cage, your chest, your neck, your scalp. And what about our face? We hold so much tension in our expressions in our face and our muscles in our face. Can you just relax your face, your muscles in your face, your forehead, your eyebrows, your eyelids, your cheekbones, your nose, your chin, even your ears and your earlobes and your teeth. Unclench your teeth, let them part. Let your tongue fall away from your teeth. Relax your lips and let's just be. And final Savasana. And breathe. I encourage you in your final Savasana with your eyes closed to move into a really big purifying breath. So how long and how deep can you inhale? Can you inhale so deep that your tummy rises high? And then let your exhale be longer than your inhale. And exhale through your mouth all that old air out of your body, all that old stuff, all the negativity. Let your light shine by breathing. Breathe in goodness. Breathe in light. Be who you are meant to be and let it be good. Continue to breathe and to relax. And maybe open your hearts and let your hearts be filled with love. Love of yourself, love of others. May your hearts be filled with grace, with gratitude, with forgiveness, with humility, and with peace. May your hearts be filled with peace today. And may you know that you have the permission to be whoever you are. Let it be. Let your light shine. I love Michael's devotion today because I went to go get my hair cut this week, and it was at a place where they do non-binary haircuts, and people are just allowed to come in and express who they are through their hairstyle, through their haircut, and through their hair color. And I just think that is just so beautiful that people can embrace who they are. And we are all made in God's image. So we should keep that in our hearts, our minds, and our spirit. As we come out of our final relaxation, maybe roll over onto your side in a fetal position, which represents renewal and rebirth. And we will slowly make our way up to a seated position the way we began our practice today, being aware of our breath and breathing, inviting breath into our being, into our body. And we are just going to lift up prayer for each other, pray for each other in the spirit. So prayer is powerful. Do you have anything going on in your life that you may need prayer? You can yell it in your own mind, or you can yell it out wherever you are. But even more so, you can jot it down in the comments, and we have a prayer team, and we will pray that prayer for you so that we can continue lifted up in prayer. Maybe it's for somebody else. Maybe it's for yourself. Whatever your prayer requests are, let us know. Let us pray for each other. I lift up all the people in India and Brazil who are suffering from terrible COVID conditions. Lord, just bring them the means to help them overcome this horrible pandemic. I pray for all of you that are here live with me today, and anyone that joins throughout the week, that you will continue to go through your life just shining your light, and that you will have peace. And I hope that you can share this experience with your friends so they too can shine their light. Let us come to a close in our practice, taking our arms out with our palms up. Inhale to float the hands up. Exhale, hands over, heart center. Namaste, and we are going to close with the Lord's Prayer. So please stay with us as we close with our Lord's Prayer.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to just center yourself and align yourself with the divine. So this morning, I want to close with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who've trespassed against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. All right. Thank y'all for being with us today. God bless.